When we first were looking at which regions of the country we would work in, North Carolina really rose to the top, largely because there was already so much happening here. And so that was good in a way, but we were also thinking, well, you know, what are we going to be able to contribute? Because there's already so much happening in North Carolina. And so we wanted to work really carefully with the folks, you know, here in the state with the Code Green initiative, and at the system level with the Super SIP process that they had launched, to make sure that we were working together and reinforcing each other's goals and really able to work in a good partnership, and not creating more meetings and more things for people to do on top of that. We wanted to be able to really work closely together to achieve. We have very similar goals and want to help support that. And so so we were able to really form a great partnership with the Code Green initiative as we move this forward, and have been really lucky to have the leadership of Dr. Johnson and Dr. Rusty Stevens from Wilson Community College out east to help build this partnership and to provide really a lot of the vision and leadership along the way. And so Dr. Johnson is here today, president of Haywood Community College, and she's going to talk a little bit more about the Code Green initiative for those of you that don't know about it or want to know more.
We wanted to make a statewide change in the system of the community colleges of North Carolina. But we wanted to do that by building individual capacity at each of the colleges. So you can imagine, all of us work at colleges and we know how cumbersome that can be. How do you build individual capacity at an individual college and then bring them together collectively towards system-wide goals? And this initiative was created and moving forward as one of the first initiatives of the system to do just that. So we're so pleased of how we're being able to do this. This is, I have the pleasure of co-chairing this with Dr. Rusty Stevens, who is the president at Wilson Community College. And I'm going to give you a brief overview of how this came about and how it fits in with today. So first of all, you can see the map of our 58 community colleges. You see Haywood Community College in the western part of the state, and then Wilson Community College in the eastern part of the state. The way that we're connected is that Rusty and I belong to the Association of Community College Presidents. And as 58 presidents, we meet quarterly and we discuss issues and things that are of importance to us as a system. Rusty and I began talking to all the presidents and doing presentation at these associations in 2007 and 2008. And the presentations we were giving were about the emerging green economy and the responsibility that we feel so strongly about, that we should protect our natural resources along with our physical resources. And recognizing that there are many issues coming together at one time, we continue making these presentations to the association and to Scott Rawls, the president of our system. And what came out of that was a special project called Code Green Initiative. And this initiative was endorsed by Scott Rawls in December of 2008, and that means in his endorsement he sent this out to all the presidents and said, this is something important. The Code Green Initiative is something important that we need to be paying attention to. This is our emerging workforce. We do have a responsibility to the environment, and we're going to be moving this forward and presenting it to the President's Association, which we did in January of 2009. So Rusty and I presented this to the association, and the Association of Presidents formally adopted this into its structure as an initiative for our system. So it's supported by Dr. Rawls, by the State Board of Community Colleges, and is being implemented by the Association of our Presidents. We initially developed a leadership team of presidents. We put out an open invitation to all presidents who would like to be a part of this, of a leadership team. We have a team of consistently about 25 presidents. So think about the numbers, 58 presidents and 25 of them consistently participate in this leadership effort. We very early in 2009 created system-wide goals for the implementation of Code Green, and you can see there that they cover the scope of things that I mentioned that are important. She was just saying, up closer. They cover the scope of things that I mentioned are important. Environmental commitment, we want the sustainable campuses. We are really focused as educational entities to make sure we have sustainable education and and training, and then also the outreach, creating sustainable communities, businesses, and partnerships. These have been our overarching goals and have driven our efforts for more than 2 years. So how do we implement something that creates individual college capacity as well as system-wide capacity? The Code Green leadership team is comprised of those presidents. They help make decisions and help move this effort forward. We do that quarterly. We do it through conference calls and many other things. They helped adopt those goals that I initially showed to you. The Code Green project teams are also led by presidents around each of those goals, and they help to move those things forward. The Code Green Implementers Network is a network that we started at the very beginning of this project, and we have Rob Holston and Chad Bledsoe, if you'll stand, who were co-leaders of this network. This network was put together for the purpose of connecting the emerging sustainability coordinators or technicians at the different campuses. In the initial orientation of this and getting this started, it was quite effective. Over a period of time, it became less effective. So we are using that, but shifting it to a regional perspective. This meeting today and this regional planning meeting is an outgrowth from the Code Green Implementers Network, and how can we make it more practical and hands-on as we identify our commonalities in our regions and how do we work together on this. The Code Green Super SIP teams are very actively involved, and Mitch Grove is going to give an overview of that in a few minutes. And then our external partnerships, such as the one that we exemplified today, are extremely important in moving these things forward. Just a few ideas of what each of these entities are doing with implementation. That leadership team of presidents has developed the goals. We're defining the position. We're empowering change both on our campuses and within the system, and we're evaluating the progress of Code Green. We do that on an ongoing basis. The project teams, also led by presidents and involving many other people, are surrounding and involving each of those goals, the campus sustainability and that environmental commitment. Campuses are demonstrating that. By example, at Haywood, we have an overarching policy for sustainability, many procedures that drive our processes. We also are part of the President's climate commitment. We have a climate commitment plan, and we're now getting ready to report to STARS, which is an assessment of our processes. The sustainable communities, municipalities, and businesses, that's what we're all about today. One of the primary things, how do we get information from all of our employers, all of our partners, and make sure that what we're doing with our curriculum development and education and training, how do we connect those to make sure we're not missing the mark and we are preparing people for valid jobs out in the world. And then professional development. It's extremely important. It's being accomplished quite a bit through this today, as well as the Code Green Super SIP has taken a tremendous step forward in preparing faculty for new skill sets and knowledge. The Implementers Network is to enhance campus sustainability efforts, and hopefully today we'll get even more insight into how to make that more effective. And the Super SIP teams, which I will not get a lot into, but many of you are involved in the 2-year instructional revision of our curriculum, our continuing education, and adult education, linking all of these things and how do we create career pathways. It was so exciting to be able to enter into this initiative because we're talking the same language and bringing the right people to the table to be able to do so. The 5 job sectors being identified by the Super SIP are environment, transportation, building, energy, and engineering technologies, and that's aligned with this Green Course initiative. We also are relying on external partnerships. I provided only an example of things here. The list continues to grow. We've worked with the North Carolina State Energy Office for a weatherization project. We have worked with the National Wildlife Federation and Jobs for the Future on the Green Course initiative, and of course we have different funders who are helping us move this effort forward on a statewide basis, such as Golden Leaf Foundation and others. So what has been our progress? To give you a little bit of a snapshot of indication, in 2008, we decided we wanted to do a baseline survey of all of the colleges to determine, well, what are we doing in sustainability? Because I have to help you understand, at that period of time, we had some colleges that were doing nothing, we had others who were thinking about it, and we had a few who were beginning to do a few things, but none of us really had a clear understanding of what our capability might be. So in 2008, on that baseline survey, you can see we had an 86% response rate of presidents and colleges. In 2010, the benchmark survey that we just completed, we had a 98% response rate. That in itself is indicative of how the awareness among presidents and across campuses has increased in a short period of time. We pulled out just a few examples to also indicate to you some of the changes that have happened. The campus recycling in 2008, 84% of the campus presidents indicated that they had some initiative in that area as compared to 90% in the most recent survey of 2010. And 54% in the earlier survey were practicing using sustainable building practices as compared to 96% sustainable practices in the most recent. And then here was a key one for us, because we really wanted to know what were presidents and colleges doing. Only 30% were offering any type of sustainability related course in 2008. And it was very interesting to me because I was one of the individuals who got to see the list. We asked for the examples of courses and things. And it was very small, things that we were doing. Now look at that, 83% in 2010 were offering sustainability courses. So the work that's being done by Code Green is focused very much on building that individual college capacity through knowledge, professional development, resources, but at the same time implementing it system-wide so that as a system, North Carolina is recognized as a leader in the nation, not only for creating training and education, but also having sustainable campuses, using those as laboratory for our students and our educational programs, but being good to the environment. All of those things go together. So our opportunities are to think globally, expand our classrooms beyond the walls into our campuses, foster those partnerships, lead change, and empower others. And we have multiple resources. I'm sure this will be made available to you. And I'm going to say thank you so I don't take up any more of my time, but I'll be available for questions most of the morning. Thank you very much.